Hi, Mr. Swarthout, I think it is, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. So what you are here for is essentially a mental evaluation. It's, I know that from the frustration I've heard from the previous interviewers that you did not essentially want this, but enough of the community has been asking this one frame question like, what's wrong with you? And honestly, we kind of want to know what's wrong with you as well. So I just have a couple standard questions to ask you, and I would hope that you would give us the whole encompass of your mind. So we have two versions of asking this question. Well, not asking, my bad. Answering these questions, there is what you feel like should be said, and then what you really want to say. And because I want to stress this enough, what you feel like is depicted through a societal lens, because from what the previous interviewer says, you have many mind frames, so therefore I feel like this was going to be perfect for you. So what you're going to do is speak from what you would view as a society's standpoint, from what this societal standpoint is, of what they would expect you to answer, and then you give what you would truly feel like you would answer, and you would deal with the situation yourself, so there can at least be a comparison of at least do you get it. Because I am a firm believer in all the case studies that I've had that there are crazy good, crazy bad, and it's just we're trying to figure out which one you are. Because for every good there is a bad, for every bad there's a good, good, bad, good, bad, and it's just trying to figure out which one are you, Mr. Swarthout. So for the first question is such a plethora, just so many good ones. I guess let's start it with a softball. Who are you when nobody's looking? Who am I when nobody's looking? And you said society and then my personal. Okay, so I think through society's lenses of modern day society, who am I when nobody's looking as nobody? Because if nobody can see me, then do I technically speaking exist? Because I do realize there's like unmarked, not necessarily immigrants, but just people in general that are unmarked in their own country due to the fact that it just wasn't done in the hospital. Parents didn't do the work. So like, if I am just not seen, then do I exist, even if I exist? So when no one's looking, I would say from society's lens, I'm nobody. But through my lens and my personal answer, I would say that I am whoever the fuck I essentially want to be, because I just kind of go through different flows, modes, and like I don't realize how much I fluctuate until I stop and think about it. Because when I stop and think about it, I realize that I guess in your guys' terms, I would be considered manic the way that I am, because I can go from I want to get up and go for a run, do 100 push-ups, do a bunch of pull-ups, and just enjoy the day, and then the next second I just want to fucking go to sleep, be under my covers, don't want anybody to talk to me, delete social media, and just be very fucking recluse. And then I just kind of have sometimes constant streams of where I just want to write a bunch of poems, make a bunch of videos for social medias that I'm on, and then just continue trying to have a better social standing. So I would assume that if I got to the heights that others do, to influence types of heights, I could essentially pay for the life that I want through just being myself. Because, well, shit it. Don't other artists do it? Essentially, I'm just a different type of artist. I would consider myself more or less of an entertainer, and my form of entertainment is social issues, I guess. I would say I try to make jokes about social issues. I try to make people more aware about certain social issues. I try to make people aware about how society may view them. But in a sense, as long as you're not doing X, Y, Z, certain things, it doesn't essentially matter what they think, because they're always going to have a view upon you, regardless if they are negative views or positive views. It's really all dependent on what do you view as a positive and or negative thing. And I feel as if as long as I keep doing that, I'm bound to find a group for me, because I'm also a firm believer that there is groups for everybody. So it's just, where are my followers? Where are my people? Where are my, whatever you would call, because as I've come to figure, every influencer, regardless if they're an actor or a singer or a dancer, their group of fans essentially have their own names. It's just, unless you're a part of it, do you really know it? And that's why I kind of like about certain things. It's just like, you don't know until you know, and if you already know, then you're probably a part of it. If you don't know, well, like, some things will tell you, and then some things you won't. They won't. So it's just when for me personally, when no one's looking, I am whoever the fuck I want to be. Honestly, I'm still him when everybody else is looking, but I'm less versions of him, because some of him is scary. Even to me, like, even some versions of me I don't like to be alone with, so why the flip would I trust that version of me alone with you? I'm not saying anything bad's gonna happen, but once certain things are done, it's hard to look at some people in other lights. So it's just like, in certain situations, you love to have me. In other situations, you'll still enjoy me. And in other situations, it's just like, well, at least he's here, right? Like, at least he's enjoyable, right? At least he's not trying to always be center of attention. That's at least what I feel like, if no one's looking, compared to if, like, society's lens and then my personal lens. Well, Mr. Swarthout, I would say that was a lengthy answer. I'd like to thank you for the full participation, and that's one of many questions down. Now, 2, what is your hobbies? And hobbies would be considered things that, if you were alone, if you are alone, what would you be drawn to do lately? Like, for me, in instance, my hobbies are wrestling. I tend to enjoy wrestling people that are taller than me. I was not blessed with height. I am only 5'6", so I typically go for 6 foot, because I feel like it's not too bad. I think the highest I will wrestle is maybe 6'4", but also weight does really matter. I like a challenge, but there's also sometimes too much to chew. I also do enjoy snowboarding. Something about the rush of the snow just going, clearly right now I don't have as much hair, but just going through my fur is just amazing. And then just the cold air, just nothing beats the mountain. And then I also enjoy bird watching. But enough about me. Now, what would you say are your hobbies, things that I would say bring you fire, passion, a reason for you to still be alive and strive to be better? That's essentially what I'm looking for, Mr. Swarthout. And you can list as many as you want. There is no cutoff list. Don't worry about over-speaking, over-sharing. This is for your evaluation. So there's no such thing as too much. The more that you share, the more that you are willing to express, the better the analysis is going to be, and the more clear that we are able to label you, Mr. Swarthout. So please, don't bite your tongue. If you feel the need to, go ahead, restart. Just vomit if you need to. This is why I act the way that I do, because I figure if I come off as comfortable, I know I might seem a little bit unprofessional, but if I come off comfortable, maybe you'll feel comfortable with me, because this is just for you anyways. This is for your best evaluation. So please, do not bite your tongue, Mr. Swarthout. What are my hobbies? Hobbies, I like to like or love. Well, I'm going to say love, and when I say love, I just mean it doesn't really matter for the weather. It doesn't really matter what the time is. It really doesn't matter the climate. It really doesn't matter to me. So for me, this is going to be the loves compared to the likes, and I'll try my best to divide them, because sometimes even in my own mind I get things mixed up, and it's like, wait, what's the difference? And then once I define it like that, I'm like, oh, I know what the difference is. So the love, I would say, no matter what the climate, no matter what the weather, no matter what the time is, no matter where the fuck I'm at, it would be soccer, it would be poetry. I even carry soccer balls with me. I kid you not. I have a soccer ball in my car. I have a pump with a needle. I don't care. I've always thought, if I got stuck in traffic jam, and this seems like it's like 6 hours, 7 hours, 4 hours. If I'm on the shoulder, it's not even like moving traffic. who gonna yell at me for like getting my ball and just like juggling? Like if I'm on the grass, because I was thinking like you're clearly some asshole, or I'm gonna be the asshole. All depends on the way that you frame and the ways you think. Because like some people are like, hey, look, he's just enjoying himself. Like lay off the kid. And some people are like, well, why the fuck is he doing it next to cars? And it's because I like to think a lot. I'm just like, if I do it on the grass, I'm pretty good about my power and touch. I know I'm not gonna be able loop it over behind me and get it into the traffic. So as long as it's not really moving traffic, or even better, if I'm doing it with somebody, I can still get out the car and be like, hey, move the car because this shit's like 2 miles per hour. I'll move with you guys when you move, if you move. I just don't want to be fucking confined in this motherfucking car. Like, I'm bored. I am bored. So like I could always play soccer no matter where the flip I'm at. I always got my phone with me, so worst case scenario, if I can't physically write, because I don't always carry notebooks with me, I can type poetry. Even if I ain't got no internet, I got docs on my mother flipper. So I'm pretty damn good on that. So like I said, soccer, poetry. And then I would say water. I even carry that everywhere with me. There's water in the room. There's water in the car. Everywhere I go, I don't give up how far. I carry water with me. Even if I gotta leave, carry backpack, something in my pocket. You will see. I need to stay hydrated. Do you not pay attention to how much I speak frequently? And also because of probably fourth thing, which I've been questioning if I want to divorce it and drop it, demote it down to a like from me, because Mary, she does help me. I would say no hindrance in it, but others would like to question me because of the fact that they don't realize most of society, do you not know how they spend their money? There's a drug problem for a reason. And I'm not always saying it's because of the poor people. Rich people be buying it so the poor people can have it. Don't you get it? It's just, you only have an issue with the way that I do it because I am not rich. If I was rich and still did this shit, it'd be like, hey, at least he's rich. And I still think I'm rich in thought, and that's because some new chick taught me it. And I'm like, thank you for that. Because after that, I'm just like, I don't give a shit. I'd be smoking her because she helped me first not feel so anxious. Generally, anxiety. I ain't bothered by everybody around me. I'm just trying to be, but they don't really get me, and I shouldn't allow my triggers to be triggering me. I shouldn't be bothered if they're really not bothering me. They are just coexisting. Did they actually say, do, act any way aggressively towards me? No, but I feel like they are just in energy. Well, I need to stop being so bitchy. I need to stop being so dickish. I need to stop being so grouchy. I need to take accountability for the fact that I have issues and I should figure out how to deal with them before I go out in the community. I can blame society if they start attacking me physically, verbally. Like, it's not my fault I'm pigmented like this. Pigmentation different for everybody. Even siblings don't always look identical. It just be how it be, and the way that you speak make me retaliate, but they don't ever question why somebody attacks you. It's like, get the shooter, get the criminal, get the bad guy. Which one though? I question everything from all angles, because if I hear it from one story and I hear the truth, like, wait a second, there was more to it. Wait a second, they didn't tell me the truth. Wait a second, they don't have good credibility. Wait a second. I never know until I truly know, and that's why I'm just like, give me some time. Because time will tell, and time tells the truth eventually, because if it's truthful, won't it always be? Until it isn't. But are we talking about humanity, morality? What are we talking about exactly? And that's why so many questions for me. So I try to see it from so many freaking examples. But yeah, Mary, it's a love. It might be demoted down to a like, just because it does help. But also I've been able to be more functioning without it, because I've come to learn to deal with the general anxiety with the help of it. I've kind of used it as crutches, which I will admit in some instances it might have been more of a codependency over crutches, but it's just being able to internalize and have the conversation with yourself, like, am I abusing it or am I using it? What's the difference? I would never suck dick for it. I would never sell anything for it. If I can afford it, I can afford it, and that's when I realize I don't have an issue with it. I don't have withdrawals when I'm not with it, and I do not hang around questionable people just because I know I can get it. It's just, What lengths are you willing to go to be able to continue and maintain the high that you are seeking, regardless of what the high is, right? Regardless if it's a high of a sale, regardless of a high of smoking and narcotic, if not ingesting narcotic, regardless of what the high is, it's the lengths that you are willing to go through that determine if you are addicted to it or not. And that's when I've come to the realization, like, you guys can say whatever you want to, but I have to remind myself every flipping time, because everybody's gonna have an input eventually at some point or another, rather they say it loud enough for it to reach my ear, or they just have it inside where nobody else can hear. So we'd hope. They're gonna have an opinion. So I take some into consideration, and others it's just like, well, if you're gonna say that about me, I can say something about you, and then some are gonna argue, why are you being so defensive? Why are you being so rude? And I'm the asshole, but if you didn't start it, I wouldn't have thrown a stone too. It's just, is it all right to retaliate? Is it all right to be defensive? Is it all right to just listen to them blindly because they say, but do they really know? What does it do for me? I explained it to you, but you wouldn't get it. It's like crutches, but did I abuse it? Yes, but doesn't everybody abuse something eventually on accidentally? Like education, the more you know, the better that you feel. I studied my education because my mind was not in the right place to be as educated as I am today, because I would have learned how to be educated dangerously first. I learned how to educate myself healthily, it's not a word I know, in a healthy way to be able to help others, because I remembered what it was like to want to ask for help, being told I'm going to get help, not feel like I'm getting help, and then sometimes help doesn't come. So it's just like, I see where there's a problem, and this is where most entrepreneurs make a business out of it, and most entrepreneurs make a shit ton of money, is they see where there's a problem, and then they fix it. Because, well, nobody else is doing it. They start doing it, then other people are like, wait a second, this is profitable? And I've done this in my personal life a handful of times. This is profitable? Well, then I want it. I want it. I want it. And they all do it because they want to get rich. Or maybe not all, but essentially someone did it because of a good story for something that touched them personally. And they did that, and that's what starts a great idea sometimes. They did it to help them, help others like them. And then other people see the money that could be made. And it's just like, greed gets into it. And that's when moralities get thrown out, ethics get thrown out. It's just like, if I can be rich, I can be rich. We can cut corners. Because I'm trying to get the top percent. And as long as I can keep these employees, pay them the minimal amount that I can fucking pay them. Thank you. Thank you very much. And it's very screwed up and diluted. It's just, how much research do you do on the products that you buy, the things that you ingest, the things that you're around? Like, I'll admit I don't even do research, and that's because the more that you know, the more conscious that you are, and then just less choices you make. It's just, makes your head hurt. I just try to at least consciously support the best I can mom and pop places, but I do realize corporations have the availability and the convenience of having a lot of things that mom and pop places don't have. And that's a shitty thing about life, because we're going to trade convenience over morality for some of us. A little bit of me, depending. I don't know the full story for all the places. I would just hope the one corporation is owned locally, because some of them can be bought. Some of them are franchises. I don't know personally. Why? Because I didn't do research. So, like, yeah, ignorance is bliss. I learn about certain things. I deter from other things, because then I won't just participate. And it's not bad not to participate, but there's some things I need to participate into, because I tell people all the time, I love to work, but I only work for money. I don't work because I want to. I work because I need to. Because if I really wanted the money and needed the money all the time, then I'd charge people for everything that I do, but I don't. I've given so many freebies, it's almost fucking ridiculous. Hey, if you need the help, I get it. You can't always afford it, but shit, you need it. I've always needed some help and assistance, and people don't always get it, but I've always been grateful and gracious that people do, so I pay it through. Like, I don't know what the price it would have been if, like, they would have charged me, so I'm not really going to be charging, because I really don't know the weight of what I just did for you, because to me, this was simple. This was easy. This was like 3 hours, 2 hours, 4 hours, 45 minutes. Like, I don't even know. It hold no value to me. It's just, I know, I'm long-winded speaking. Now, likes, I would say, likes, going out walking, because I don't know, wintertime, oh hell no. I'm be, not bitch all the time. So I would define likes as something that I would do given the right circumstances and the right, yeah, circumstances essentially dictate. So I like walking. Typically, I would do that if I'm very heated and I can't get out of a situation all that quick. And it's just been like, it's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go for a walk. And then it turns into a love because, like, it don't matter what the fuck's going on. I'll fucking go barefooted, shirtless. I don't give a shit. So that's a like. Another like, I would say video gaming. That used to be a love, but I don't do it as much as I used to because I feel like when I was doing it when I was younger, it was due to the fact that I was really just trying to learn how to communicate, how to interact. And same with the movies, which would have been a love at one point or another, but dropped down. See, things can get demoted in my life. So, those two, yet again, for the exact same reason, movies is the same reason for video games. It's to learn how to interact. And also, just fantasy for the video games, more or less, just to be able to do things. And for the fact that I can just do a lot of things inside of my mind, it makes it easier for me just to be able to get out the frustrations I can't get out in real reality and fake reality, because at least I get to see the blood and gore and control at least something. If I can't control something outside personally, I'm still doing something. This character is mine, this mind that I wanted to do. Like, I made it hit it, I made it rob it, I made it do something that I can't make personal me do because of rules that aren't in play in this game, because this game is played differently than this game. I'm just like which is why it makes me kind of question, because I think personally, without video games, I may be more aggressive. I may have been, because I personally, I can't speak for anybody else. Listen closely. I personally used video games as an outlet to get away from society and to not be aggressive towards others. Like, I still think about this and laugh at this till this day. I can't really give the answer. Like, I haven't been able to give an answer, but I'm pretty sure now I have a good enough answer. But still, like, there's no good answer to just be violent for no fucking reason, which is essentially was the reason. But yes, there is. Overstimulated. And I don't even remember what the fuck overstimulated me, but I remember being in gym class, and I don't remember what grade I was in, but we were fucking small. And I remember the gym teacher, I remember what she looked like, but I don't remember her fucking name. And I remember I kneed this kid in the nuts once, and I don't even remember why, because we weren't even mad at each other. Like, at that time span, I consider that dude my best friend, and I kneed him in the nuts. Why would you fucking do that, Ethan? I don't fucking know. Which is why I'm just like, yeah, I could be autistic. I fucking could. I do a lot of fucking autistic as shit. I do get along with people that most of society would call weird, crazy, this, that. They've also called me this and that too. So it's just like, well, doctor, if I could pay you to write me a note, I would. But I'm just too poor to. Rich in thoughts, though. So I just learned myself to be able to tell you guys that I am myself. And you guys can diagnose me or not. I don't know. I know that I am myself personally, and what others may perceive as differently. Maybe I am retarded. I am me. Love me or hates me. So other likes that I like. I don't know. I like a lot of things, but nothing all at the same time. Like, I guess I'm more or less good about telling people I don't like than what I do like. But for the fact that a lot of my life, I didn't really create many boundaries due to the fact that I more or less wanted to be accepted and be in a lot of social groups. It's just like, I like whatever you like because I want to be liked by you, okay? And I realized as time progressed that was a bad thing to do, but with no good teachers, no good examples of what to do, you just do what you can do what you're allowed to do what you don't get yelled at for doing, do what you don't get hit at, do what gets you attention, do what, I don't know, you just do stuff. And like, for as much as I would consider myself aware, I would say I became aware at 12, but I zoned back out. But I also was aware a handful of times. It's just like, to me, I feel like there was dream states where it's just like, and then like, hey, if you get what I mean. Blackout states, fugue states. Fugue states and blackout state are two different meanings. Well, a blackout state could be a fugue state, but fugue state could also be a blackout state. But it doesn't, okay, blackout from what I've come to learn is it's when you just have no memory of what you did due to either substance abuse regarding alcohol or narcotics. And a fugue state is when essentially it could be played into a split in your personality, and another character comes out, because aren't we all essentially playing a character, or at least so I think personally, because who I am publicly and who I am personally are two different people. But the fugue state is when the other version comes out and essentially lives their life. And have you ever seen Me, Myself, and Irene by chance with Jim Carrey? That's what I would consider fugue state in a sense. If that's not, maybe something else. I don't know, but it could be essentially the same. I could need to do more research. Like clearly, I don't have core curriculums to study this from, but like whatever interests me is what interests me. It's like the mind, psychology, and social issues. So I would say I like a lot of things. I know I didn't give you like a societal reason of things that I should like because of my ethnicity or maybe because of my upbringing or this or that. But like I feel like that would just dive into even more things. I just keep on rambling and going. It's just I like what I like. I enjoy what I enjoy, and it's because of what has soothed me throughout time and what continues to bring me joy and spark. And it's just like for me personally, unless I'm in a stubborn assholic mood, which I would say is what happens when I get sober and am in a sober mindset, like I feel like in instances I will be trapped in my own head telling myself, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. But physically I'm watching me do these things that I'm telling myself not to do. And it's just like, why the fuck did you do that? I told you not to do that. What the fuck are you doing? Hello, listen to your fucking self. And it's just like, I know you're supposed to be able to have control of yourself all the fucking time, but that's another instance. I would also say I smoke weed, but people are like, oh no, you just make excuses. All right, Mrs. Starbucks, Mr. Starbucks. All right, Mr. Poppin', Miss Poppin' all the time. Like, all right, Mr. Always got your confliction too. Like, you're mad at me because I smoke weed. I got lots of shit I could pick at you. But I choose not to pick at you. I choose not to be defensive. I'm not defensive, but I'm also not defenseless. I get it. You swinging for the fences, trying to hit home runs, but you're also on the glass house too. The difference between you and I is I have confidence in the reasons why I do things. Do you know why you do what you do, and how much debt would you go into? I don't go into debt because of my addictions. I go into debt because of the kindness that I bring with me, bearing other people's weights until I start to feel the in my own body. I'd break myself just to hold up somebody else, but I wouldn't stand because I don't want to. It's crazy how I be sometimes. It's just like, it is what it is. And I think that's what makes me me, that I can see it from so many different views. And even then, I still hope for the best. I shoot for the best because I figure if I listen, if I shoot with good intentions, then good things will happen to me. So I hope I answered the question correctly. I think I answered the question correctly. I don't know. Is there a correct way to answer this? Just in case you're keeping track, Mr. Swartha, it is question 3, and I would like, this one's more of it's a longer question for sure, and it's, how would you react to being locked in a room full of those different-minded? As in, let's say that you are a tree hugger, per se, and you enjoy equality, love, peace, so I guess like the 60s hippie vibe, and you're locked in the room with, let's say one of them is anarchist. They just think the whole entire world should burn. They don't really care about anybody. Another person is very religious. Let's say Christianity just is one of the most popular ones. They're very LGBTQ negative, and they don't really care about anybody else aside from Jesus Christ, God, their Savior, and they don't really care all that much, and they kind of get along with the anarchists in certain instances, kind of get along with you in certain instances, but more or less just doesn't really care for either one of you, think you both will go to hell, but still thinks if in God that they do these things, rather if they whip you or love you, they're going to get you to be able to see the light of, just, you know, one of those types of people. And then, let's say, just for a last mix, just make it even more special, there's you. There's a second, there's a third, fourth seems like it's pleasant enough because at least you guys can possibly group together. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Swarthout. The fourth one, neutral. They don't give a about anything. They don't give a crap about what you care about. They don't give a crap about what the anarchist cares about. They don't give a crap about Christianic person cares about. They're just there just to be essentially robotic. Just like, how would you interact? how would you feel? How do you feel as if that would go? And I guess I didn't add this into it. Let's say the period that you are encompassed in that room with them is for 12 hours. How about that? Could you, would you, and how would you handle 12 hours being locked in a room with 3 different mindsets than yours? I would say very diverse, and the personalities are varying as well. From very energetic to intrusive to well, maybe intrusive, but introverted is what I truly meant. But they might have intrusive thoughts is what I also meant. But introverted, and then just that. And I'm not even going to tell you which one the extroverts and the introverts are. That's for you to figure out. And you could probably guess what the that is. But that's still, how would you deal with it, Mr. Swarthout? How would I react if I was locked in a room with those that have different minds? And you said 4 of them, right? An atheist, a Christian, a neutral, and then me. And I'd be the hippie. Well, you gave me the easiest one, honestly. If I get to play the hippie, which is I wouldn't consider myself one, but then again, if I think of certain descriptions, like I don't know, I feel like I fit in a lot of groups, but no groups altogether. And it's just like, I feel like I would get along with all of them, which is going to be my societal answer. And then my real life answer is I feel like I would just manipulate all of them, and I wouldn't act, like I would try to intentionally manipulate 2 of them. At least the Christian one. Just because, there's certain things about things I don't like, and it's just, that one I know I'd have to manipulate because they wouldn't like me. Because I don't care. I love to love and love to be able to enjoy things. And certain things that they don't enjoy, I would enjoy. I would promote. I would cheer on. I'd be like, yay, great, congratulations. And then which other one? I think I would also fake it with the, did you say nihilist? I think it was. The crazy extremist that wants to blow up shit just because it's like, we don't want that person to slit my throat. Just because. And there's no talking them out of it, is what I'm assuming those type of mindsets are. So I figure, even though I don't intentionally like to manipulate, I realize in certain instances, selling is a form of manipulation. People just don't want to talk about it. It's not manipulating. It's just using your words to convince them to do things that they typically wouldn't do, but, just not aggressively. I don't know, maybe I just think too much when it comes to things, which is why I've always felt like I'd make a shitty salesman, because it's just like, if you don't want to buy it, okie dokie, I'm fine with that. But I've realized salesmen, bosses are like, no, predatory mindset. You have to make them want it. If they don't want it bad enough, well, make them want it bad enough. Trick them. And I'm just really not all that tricky. I just figured, be real, be raw, be authentic, and that's what you'll get from life. That's what you'll get from society. But I've also come to learn from my own personal experiences, to have expectations is the easiest and the quickest way to be disappointed. So just be yourself and, well, keep your guard up, or don't. Just be yourself and keep looking. Keep looking, keep looking. So I figured if I had to be stuck in a room with those people for 12 hours, like you said, I would hope it's at least a fucking big ass room. Like, you didn't really say if it was gonna be like some type of shed, some pole barn, inside a freaking closet that can only fit 4 of us, inside an elevator, what it was. But if we had to be in there for 12 hours, I could do it. I really could, due to the fact that I realized I've made it this far with as much experience as I have in my life communicating with those that just want to be small-minded individuals on personal experiences, and want to try to belittle and devalue the things that I have gone through. It is fine. It is fine, because what signifies me is a lot of what I react to and how I treat others, regardless of how others treat me. And I figure as long as nobody swings on me, we all should walk out that room alive. There should be no dead bodies. But if they're all going to be overtly aggressive, like, go ahead, do with the subliminal stuff. I can deal with subliminal messages. I could play silent games. I'm good at that stuff. I can do a lot of things. So for the fact that I'd only have to deal with them for 12 hours and not like a fucking week straight and like only them for a week, easy. Easy money. Easy. Even if you're not paying me, like easy, easy, easy. It's just because I have learned through the traumas and the things I've been through life to be able to put my mind in a lullaby mindset where it's just like, huh. Oh, the cracks in this floor looks pretty interesting. Ooh, noticing some newer indentations in my. Is this a different hair color follicle? Why is this part shadier? It's just my mind can go wherever I want it to, and sometimes nowhere where I want it to. So for the fact that I would realize quickly how stale or how engaging these conversations would be with the other individuals, I would either enjoy it or just don't look ill. It's a skill of mine. I love it and hate it. Like, it helps, but it doesn't. It's just, when I can use it, I can use it. When I can't, it's just like, oh, mother flipper. That's what I love about it. So what is the next question? Why do you think I am talking to you? I typically ask this in every session I am in because I want those that I am speaking to be aware. I want to know what their awareness level is. And Mr. Swartha, I would like to say that you seem to be very aware, even though your reality might be very different from those that you have described from your societal lenses to your personal lenses. But why do you think you are sitting across from me and we are having this conversation? I just want to know what you're thinking. I know I've been asking the whole entire time, but I just can't get enough. These are the standard questions. These are the questions that I do have to ask. I did say there's a lot of questions, but I did not take into consideration, and neither did my higher ups when they did establish these time formats, that you are a lengthy, and there's nothing wrong with that, Mr. Swartha. Like I said from the start, I want you to be as honest, I want you to be as open, I want you to be as upfront, I want you to give it all that you got so we can get as much information and make the best judgment possible. But clearly, most people do not speak with the wind that you do, with the frequency that you do, with the speed that you do, and sometimes it's just like, whoa, 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 slow down, Mr. Swarthout. I can't keep up. I've had to switch pens already. But it's all right, Mr. Swarthout. It's all right. I'm just saying I might not be able to get through all the questions. I realized that pretty early on, so I'm really just asking the essential questions. Like I said earlier, there is a lot of questions, but this was not made with you in mind. It was made for those that didn't speak as much, essentially. And I might say something to my higher ups. They might listen to me. I don't really have much to say. I don't really have much pull. I know I'm getting a little too personal, but I'm just saying, Mr. Swarthout, thank you for at least being so lengthy and detailed in your explanations. So, why do you think I'm talking to you? Just for the reminder and the refresher of the question. So, whenever you feel ready, Mr. Swarthout. Because I'm pretty. Because I'm pretty. Why else would you be talking to me? I'm kidding, clearly. Well, you already told me at the beginning, but let me reiterate it, I guess. The alarming rates of the fact that people keep asking, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I don't really know. Because I stop and think, and it's just like mixed reviews. But I've also stopped and think, and I always try and compile things. I feel like I'm more or less a computer than I am a human. So it's just like, statistically, I would say, if I was a business and I was to be personally reviewed, depending from at least the group and the people that I've been around and have reviewed me and actually been honest, that I believe are honest about it because of the way that they said it compared to just like saying it. I feel like there's a lot of, in the way that people's voices fluctuate, going from to so, and the more that you know, the easier it makes it for communicating, being able to read what's not being said and being able to read what is being said, because, oh my gosh, that's how I learned. I learned to like not speak while speaking, and I learned what people meant without them saying it. And it's because I've been around so many people that did it. It's just like, why didn't you just fucking say it? Because if we can speak the exact same language, why not say it? If we can text, like, because I've come to learn in certain groups, in certain instances, there's some things that people want to say, but to keep the peace, to preserve it, to keep from more or less of a volcano eruption, because of somebody that's not as emotionally developed as everybody else in the group, they tend not to say things, but you can feel it in there. Or I can, I don't know. I'm me, you're you, I don't know what you feel. So I am just like, some things I've come to learn not to say, but it's from learning from previous experiences of saying things that I was just like, I thought it was fine to say. And I've come to get familiar with the feeling because of the, I thought it was fine to say. And shit, the snapback was quick on that one. Actually, I didn't really hurt that bad. You know what? I'm going to say it to this person, but not everybody's going to hit that soft. So it's just like, if you're willing to deal with the consequences of your actions, and fine. And for the fact that everybody innates different consequences to certain actions, it's just like some people might just say, don't do that again. And some people might say, don't do that again. And it's just realizing who's going to and who's going to. It's time. You'll learn as things progress. I definitely did. I don't know about you, but as time progresses, you'll learn who you can be your authentic self with and who you should probably have personal character with. Like a personal, I feel personally for myself, I don't know how about others do, there should be a personal you that you are to yourself. There should be a public you, and then there should be a personalized you for certain people that you have to essentially be around, like doctors, I would say, lawyers, I would say, police officers, I would say, because if you're going to be in the societal world, you gotta interact. And also, why not the kids and the elderly? Because if you're gonna be in this world, you have to be able to interact with those that, not only because I also enacted doctors and lawyers and fucking police officers, not only people that could also disturb your life due to power tripping or due to the fact that you talk too off to them, too aggressively, too assertively, too in their face, and then it's just like, you basically shot yourself in the foot. Why the fuck would you be getting a police officer, lawyer, or a doctor, if not judge's face? Why would you be this mother flipping close to them? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get that close to you, but like, why would you do that? I'm just such a visual type of person. When I, good thing you're not a doctor or a lawyer or a police officer. What the fuck are you? You do look nice though, but that's besides the point. So it's just like, with me always thinking about certain instances like that, I've realized that I need to have essentially splits, but they're not. They're all me. I would say like there's layers to being. And the line that always kind of bothered me as a child, yet again, because I have many lines that probably bothered me. It's just depending on which story I'm telling, what I'm thinking of in the thought process, the tracks that I'm in. And it's the act right. You know how to act. Get your act together. And I'm really trying to put emphasis on the act part because people neglect to think that we're playing parts but don't pay attention to how we speak. Act right. Actor. They do acting for plays and or movies. And what are those? Fantasies, things that are fabricated by a director, a team. People teach them, people learned them, people helped them. And what are you telling me by telling me to act right? I should be an actor? I should be acting? Okay, I get that part, but you're a shitty fucking, it's not an understudy, but lead. There we go. Because I would be essentially the understudy, correct? Because you're the older human, the superior human, the teacher, the one that's supposed to groom me perfectly so I can be the one that fits into society as well as you do. So if I am learning exactly from you, then how can you say I suck when I learned it from you? I am literally a reflection of your treatment. I am literally a reflection of you. I am literally you. If you are the person that I have taught myself to be, if I am literally molded after you and I actually do your teachings, if I am shit, then you are shit too, but not everybody can see that. So I personally try to take the time and energy to make myself a good person because I do realize when I go out in society, people are going to see me regardless if I want to be seen. Because sometimes I will admit I do be wearing headphones, I do be wearing hoodies, I have that shit up. But when you got a pretty face like this, a smile like this, and a voice like this, like, Who's not gonna notice? Even if I, and also when you're in a place that isn't really quite melanated, blessed quite yet, it's just like they're gonna notice me because how many of them do you see that look like me? And for the fact that I do not have dreads, I I have my own style. And then the painted nails, and I have my own style because of the whole entire oh you all look alike bullshit. So it's just like all right, okay. If we all look alike, then how many short-haired, melanated Haitians with painted nails, you know? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Personally, I don't know. I don't know where you're from. So it's just like, if you want to be small-minded, stereotypical, and racist about it, go ahead. But my individual self is my individual self, just like your individual self is your individual self. But it's just like, I don't know. I really don't know why you talk to me. I'm glad you answered that question because it's just like, I am who the fuck I am. I know I ain't a bad man, but some people call me bad because of my skin. And I think about that every day when I'm just like, what did I do? Did I molest anybody? No. Did I rape anybody? No. Did I kidnap anybody? No. Did I rob anybody? No. Did I make somebody feel bad? No. Did I make myself feel bad? Yes. Am I somebody? Yes. Did I make somebody feel bad? Yes. So, do I realize I am somebody that I can feel and or love and I should appreciate? Not always. Should I? Probably. And I realize that, so sometimes I talk outwardly to myself to remind me, hey, we should be nicer to ourselves. And not everybody sees that kindly, but I also do question how other people's self-talk are. I am reminding myself as I tell others typing, hey, talk to yourself nicer. Sometimes I send and sometimes I read. Sometimes I notice the messages that are for me, but I'm saying it's somebody else because I need to see. That is me a lot of times. I need it in front of me or I don't get it. That's me visually got to learn or not quite clicking for me, but not everybody learns like me. Not everybody's as patient as me. Not everybody is blessed. It's a blessing and a curse. That's why I think you're talking to me, because you want to have a better awareness of other people's mindsets. And even though like others may call me weird, other people may call me crazy, others might call me lazy, and like I've been called everything from good to bad. It's just like the reviews, like I said with the older analogy that I never finished, I would say at a 5-star rating, I'd be like a 4.5. I wouldn't give myself perfect 5-star because there are things that I will say that outside of racism were my bad. I should have known better. I should have done better. I should have been more accountable. And there's just a lot of things. It's just like, for what I know, for what I remember about me, for the things that I've been through, what do you expect? And stop expecting. Where you're not listening, expectations is the dumbest thing to have. Expect them to be themselves, and if you don't know who they are, take some time to learn them. And I figure most people want to judge me before they learn me, and I figure certain instances and certain things I do, it's just like, there's really no good way to explain it. Just in general, or because like here's one story which this is just no good way to explain it in general. I had somebody drive my vehicle at one point and we're going just down a stretch. And I've wanted to do this for a while. I had a dream about it, if not like a little bit of a premonition about it. I just really want to do it. And when I want to do something, I tend to do it, which is why I'm just like, ooh, I could be a bad guy. It's just I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be locked up for the fact that I was just like, this is going to be fun. It was not fun. Fuck, now I got paid for like 15 minutes of just, woo, yeah, I'm rich. Ah, fuck. I was rich for like 15 seconds. At least they locked me up and still shot me. So it's like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Which is why I'm like, let's not learn how to be bad. Let's learn how to be good. So I learned to people please, not even part of the story. Back to the story. So he was driving. I was sitting passenger. I'm like, nobody in front of us. Nobody behind us. And it's nice and open. I can see everything I need to see. It's time to start climbing. So from the passenger seat, I get out. I climb, because how did I no, actually, I forgot about this. I was able, because the car is pretty small, able to reach my hand back, put down the back seat behind me, the window, because I'm thinking like, how the fuck did I put down that window? Because I had to climb through that window, because I did climb through that window. But it's besides the point. So, it's actually during the point and part of the point. So I put down that window, and as I was sitting passenger, I literally climbed out And I went from the passenger seat to the back seat, sat in there for a hot second. I went from the back seat to sitting on the actual back, as I possibly could have broken the back window. I am glad I am fit. I am not heavy. I am only 5'6". My body frame shouldn't even be as heavy as this. I actually haven't been on scale in a hot minute, but I feel like I'm roughly about like 150 something. I know I fluctuate in between 140 and 160. Heaviest I've ever been is 180. So most of the times, like, I don't ever think I'll make 200 unless I'm really trying to. So it's just like, I'm glad that I wasn't heavy enough, because if I would have broken the glass, I'm like, damn. Because I didn't get any of this on video. This is, to you guys, it's all bullshit. I only got one person to second the truth that I am saying. And he'll say, I'm fucking crazy. And I'll say, he's fucking crazy. What does that mean? I don't know. So it's just like, I like to do things that I like to do. And for the fact that I just knew he wouldn't freak out about it, he was the only person I could have driving. I just needed a third person to be, come on. But they would probably been like, no, you think you shouldn't be doing? I'm like, shut the fuck up. This is my life. I don't give a fuck. I can't do shit lavishly, so I'm gonna do shit dangerously, but only dangerous for me. And I guess, yes, essentially there are some things that could have gotten us into trouble if location is key, ladies and gentlemen. Do you not listen to me whatsoever? If you're going to do it, make sure you do it correctly. Location is key. So it's just like, I get why you're talking to me, but I'm only guilty of trying to enjoy what I can enjoy without hurting anybody. Because yes, I do realize how dangerous it could be to me, but aside from maybe detrimental to his mindset, I don't think he would have given too much of a shit if I fell off my own vehicle doing off my own stunt because he was driving. Like, it wasn't his fault that I would have hurt myself. Would he have blamed himself? I don't personally think so, but at the same time, I'm just like, some people may have, some people may never, and it's just like, you can only do what you can only do. And I figure if I can't rich my life, if I can't live my life rich and lavishly, then I'm at least gonna live it to what I can enjoy. And sometimes, in the fucked up and funny part about this is sobriety, or it might have been in my sobriety period. It's just a lot of the things I did that was ridiculous, I don't try to do on Mary Jane, because I don't want to ever give it a bad name, because I'm crazy. And then the drugs came. But people won't believe that, because they're like, no, you just, no. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever knew me before graduation, so 2016 before, sober. 2016 passed, more or less high or not. It's 50-50, because I will admit I did stop smoking for certain instances to get some jobs, because I need money, because money makes the world turn, right? Not right, but it makes the world turn. So it's just like, I can stop if I need to, if I want to. But all the shit that I did in 16 below, sobriety and trauma. Sobriety and trauma. Sobriety and trauma. Yay. That means no to low influences of, I actually didn't start smoking weed till later on, but alcohol I drank a little bit, but never much publicly, and started drinking a little bit more publicly. And the weed thing, yet again, like I said, 16 and up, as in 2016, not the age of 16. So I was 18, but 2016 up, I've been doing that, and it's just like, if you question anything I did 2016 before, then you should love me 2016 and up, because I'm not going to do half as many dangerous and stupid shit, because 2016 and up, now it's just like, oh, you did it because of narcotic abuse? No, I'm not going to ruin the name. No, I'm not. I was fucked up. I just happened to be on other shit. Like, I promise you, the drugs did not influence my thoughts whatsoever. I influence my thoughts, and sometimes I am bad to be around me, but you're not going to get that. But for the fact that I was under these influences, I didn't realize I was being bad for me, because the voice that tells me not to do this is too fucked up to tell me not to do this. So like, maybe it's because of the influence of the drugs, but really it's because of me influence. Drugs didn't tell me to do this, I told me to do this. Drugs stopped me from telling me to stop doing this. So really, it's my fault. I don't blame nothing else. I would take full accountability, take drugs off of it. If you want to write something, write crazy. Don't say narcotics. And that's just me on accountability and being able to say, you know what? I do realize sometimes things can alter people's minds, but I'm already in an altered mind. And I've come to learn, if people can't be in altered mind states, and oh my gosh. I met one person that couldn't do acid. I was like, oh, hell no. I ain't never being around this person ever again. This is scary as fuck. How can you not be affected by psychedelics? Like, clearly, I know facts are stranger than fiction, and there are lots of anomalies in life. So it's like, it's possible. I just didn't think it was. So it is what it is. But why I think you're talking to me, you're fucking bored. Society is too irrational of what they think, too irrational, not irrational, too irrational on what they what they conceive normal to be, because normal is what you individually are used to. And then I guess there is a social societal normal, but that is more or less, and from my opinion, is ignore and shut the fuck up. Honestly, I wouldn't snitch, but I would snitch to the right people if I knew it gets things done efficiently. Because from what I've learned in my personal life, snitching does help sometimes. And it depends on who you're snitching to. Because if you're snitching to somebody that's also inside on it, then it's just like, now they just know to kill you and shut you the fuck up. But if you're snitching on somebody that really is passionate about taking care of something, it's just like, now they know that they can trust you, and they might try to use you as an informant for other things. And it's like, yay, you're helping the world. So it's just like, even people on the good team have bad players. Even people on the bad team have good players. Because if you really want to get something done, you need an inside man. So the best way for me to get a very good developed mindset of what crazy is by being crazy myself. I don't know, I think it's a fucking perfect theory, but I think you're talking to me because you're trying to figure out what the difference between good crazy and bad crazy is. And I would personally say I am a very good, compelling case for good crazy, because I'm aware. And that's about it. I am aware. So any more questions? You know what, Mr. Swarthout? Maybe we could fit one more question in, but we're at question 5 with what makes you cry? Just because with all these other questions that have been rattling in your head and you've been answering, rattling off both thoughts and both perspectives, I would also want to know, and this is yet again standard because we already went through this. I just want to know, for people that are emotionally healthy, for those that are out interacting in the community, we want to make sure when they are out, they not only interact with those appropriately in general, appropriately for their age, appropriately even if they're older and or younger, because in the community, regardless of whatever community that you're in, you do realize, Mr. Swarthout, and I would hope you do, even if you're not much to go out, I don't assume you have agoraphobia, the fear of going, not the fear, the fear of going out. I'm sorry, I'm getting so tongue-tied, Mr. Swarthout. The fear of going out, then I think that it's best that you should be able to interact with both children, elderly, and then a third party, which of being your peers. Because if you can't interact with your peers, then what good are you to the community? What good are you to the group? What good are you truly? You should probably be in a padded room, especially if you're being overly aggressive in times and issues when there's no need for aggression. You're just overdoing it. So, Mr. Swarthout, we're just trying to figure out what your at least emotional health is, because we don't want you out there hitting somebody's grandparent, hitting just some elderly person just because you felt the need to, or because you felt attacked in a situation that you didn't need to escalate so high, but because you didn't quite get the connection. Or, Mr. Swarthout, we don't need you out there kicking somebody's child, throwing somebody's child, kidnapping somebody's child, harming somebody's child, because yet again, you didn't have the emotional receptors to be able to get that. You don't escalate this quickly. You don't escalate like that to kids. This is not how it's supposed to be. And it's not a more or less of a social thing. It's a social plus moral thing, because socially it might be acceptable in some certain cases to slap the fuck out of somebody, regardless of age. It's just disrespect is disrespect. And then in certain instances, it's just morally, it's like, I don't give a fuck where I am socially. I am going to respect people to the boundaries that I can respect them, because I would want this. And regardless of the age, regardless of the size, I'm going to respect them if they hit me, regardless if they spit at me, regardless if they yell at me, regardless if they're vulgar towards me, because I personally take it as a chance to teach. Now, that's if that's your type of mindset. Because some people think it's like, oh, snap. Oh, snap. Somebody trying to get knocked out. Somebody trying to die today. Somebody trying to see the Lord. Somebody's trying to see the devil. Somebody trying to go away. Like, hey, oh, shit. I don't give if this is your kid. I don't give it's your grandma. I don't give who this person is. I don't they're bigger than me. I don't give this gun gonna Ooh, I'm gonna level everybody out. I'm gonna air this whole place out if somebody keeps stepping on me. I tell you what. And that's just because of, well, Mr. Sorta, there's so many variances, and if I speak like you do, then my higher ups would ugh. But it's your turn to speak. I'm sorry I dragged this out so long. So, what makes you cry? This could be our last question, or maybe I might be able to squeeze a sixth one in, but for sure that will be our last question. I would like to say this before, sorry yet again, before we stop this. I have enjoyed our time together. I've enjoyed being able to pick your mind and be in your mind space for a little bit. So thank you for the time, Mr. Swarthout, just in case it's the last one. If it's not, well, still, it's your turn to speak, Mr. Swarthout. What makes me cry? I don't think as an entertainer I could be in many dramas unless like I'm doing the impactful speech, because what makes me cry, I will tell you, there's like such rare instances that I've cried that I could probably tell you on like two fingers. And I'm 25, which is good and bad, but like really bad because the environment that I grew up in, to be crying, to be a baby is to cry, and no matter how old you are, you're not a baby. It's just like the mental trauma that was forced into my mind that you can't cry. It is weak to cry. It is stupid to cry. You're a fucking baby, regardless of how old you are. So with that instilled into my mind at a very young age, it's just like, men don't cry. And yes, I did learn toxic masculinity, but I also unlearned it. I would say so, because I don't give a fuck if you're LGBTQ. You can kiss in front of me. I just don't want to see it. I don't give a fuck if you're fucking heterosexual either. I don't want to see it. Porn, different story. But still, I'm not watching homosexual porn. It's just like, I watch you guys kissing porn, but that's because, technically speaking, I'm not there. And like, I'm aware of it, and I'm just like, how does that make sense? Like, you watch porn and you watch heterosexuals kissing porn. You won't watch heterosexuals or homosexuals kiss in real life. But what's the difference? Is it the screen? Is it because they can't see you? Is it because you can't feel the energy? Like, what is the difference? You're still a fucking pervert. You're just a closeted pervert. Are you like a closet racist? Like, you like them out in public, but you hate them privately? Or you hate them privately and like them out in public? Like, what is wrong with you? I don't know. It's weird because I overthink things. It's just like, are we aggressive towards the things, though? No. Are we disturbing other people's peace? No. I ask myself these priming questions to try to figure out, is it really bad? What is bad? It's just forcing my thoughts and opinions upon others and disturbing their physical well-beings compared to their emotional well-beings, because emotions change all the time. Like, you might be mad at me now and you might be happy at me later, and you might be sad and this and that. And it's just like, it's fine to feel the emotions that you feel, but can you express it? And if you can't, that's fine, but to feel something without having anything done to you, it's weird. Like anxiety, I fucking hate it. Back to the point, do I cry now? I have cried to a movie called Boys Don't Cry. That's a fucking bullshit title. From what I remembered about it, it was a lesbian chick that was trying to get into a relationship with a chick that didn't know she was lesbian, but turns out she might be lesbian, might be bi, had brothers that were assholes that raped the lesbian chick and then killed the lesbian chick, and I was just like, that was just an emotional roller coaster, because I fucking loved it. Like, I don't know if it's because of the way my energy works, I just get really into movies. That's also probably why I don't watch dramas. I don't think they'll make me cry, it's just, it's emotionally draining to me. I don't know how to explain that aside from like, wow. And then I'll like try to analyze it and realize a lot of society in life isn't like this, or certain movies, because I try to make it as realistic as life can be, because there are some things that are realistic, and there's a lot of things that are just very, very fantasy, and dramas and fictions and non-fictions. It's just trying to figure out, what are they saying but not saying, or what are they not saying and saying. It's just, I try to pick a lot of messages from things that are or aren't supposed to have messages, because art is subjective, and it's just whatever you think it is, regardless of what the director may think it is, or whatever the director may have tried to paint it to be, because we all interpret things differently, and not everybody wants to think about that, but I think a lot. I try to remind people that, but so not much makes me cry. Not much, but Boys Don't Cry, that movie. The season finale of Dexter before they rebooted it, that made me cry. I don't fucking know why, it just struck a nerve. Certain songs, if I listen to them long enough, it get me low enough to cry. And then think there was another thing that made me cry. But either way, what I've come to learn and develop more as time has grown is crying is not a weak thing to do. Crying is a very fine human thing to do, and it's a good way to really cleanse. And sometimes I've tried to make myself cry just because it's just like, I haven't done it in a while. Actually, I did cry recently. I think it was no, I had to have been this year. Earlier this year, honestly. I don't even remember what the fuck made me cry, but I was just like, what was it? Oh, The Good Place. That made me cry too. I don't know. It was something that Eleanor said that just hit me, and it just like, and it wasn't like the ugly cry. It was just like one tear, and another tear, and another tear, and another tear. It's just like, yeah. Get it out now because I don't know the next time they'll cry. I would like to say I'm a very emotional person, but I'm not emotional. And it's funny to say that because essentially what little sis would say is you're being extra, you're being dramatic. And she's not wrong. I am. Because I don't give a shit. I give what I feel like I should in the room. And if I'm overdoing it, just let me know. I don't give a fuck. I'm just trying to figure out. Like, if you tell me things that I feel like I should be happy, then I'm like, oh, I should be sad. Like, somebody died, sad reaction. Somebody won the lottery, happy reaction. Somebody got robbed, mixed reaction. Is it somebody that we like or is it somebody we don't like? Is it somebody I like or is it somebody I don't like? Like, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm waiting for because it's part of life. At this point, I'm like, as long as they're alive, I don't really give a shit. And even if they're dead, well, hell, at least I don't have to deal with this bullshit. It doesn't really matter because, like, their life is their life, my life is my life, and I hope the best for them, and that's how I think of it. But I don't hope the best for those that are always trying to be evil and always prey on those that are less fortunate or those that are weak. But no, in short, I don't cry, but I also do not think it's demasculating to cry. I think it is something that everybody should do, and everybody should be able to enjoy regardless of what others say, because you are you, they are them, and fuck what they think. Fuck what they say. Enjoy yourself because why the fuck not? You're you 24/7. They are around you whenever the fuck they choose to visit you. And just because they are there around you doesn't mean they choose to. Some people are around you because you're the best place that they can go. You're the only place that they can go. So it's just like it's either here or outside. And outside is not safe for me. So I'm going to be here fucking screwing up other people's peace, but at least I'm safe. I don't cry, but I should do. I should learn to. And I realize it's because of my childhood trauma, but hey, at least I figured out why I don't cry. It doesn't mean it makes me any less emotional or any less empathetic or sympathetic. It just means, hey, it is what it is. But like, I don't cry, but do cry. It's just like I said, I literally told you all the times I've cried, and then like maybe 2 other times that I just don't remember where I've had to force myself to cry. And that's a force compared to a natural thing. Like, I don't really know what it's like to just cry. Like, it's just like, because I've been to funerals and I'm just like I'm sad. And I can feel that, but I question, am I sad because I'm here and everybody else here is fucking sad? Am I sad because I'm touching people? Am I sad because I'm generally upset that they passed away? Or am I sad because literally just the destination? I feel like to deal with certain things, I don't express how the normal people do, but I express with acceptance and with grief and all this and all that. I just have my own different ways of doing it. I've come to learn, and that's because of the way that I was brought up. We don't grief like, but I've seen every single one of them cry, but I didn't make fun of them like they made fun of others. That's the difference between me and that's the difference between me and everybody else. I've also seen the tears be raw and authentic, and then tears used for manipulation. So it's just like, nothing that might desensitize me. Hey, it is what it is. Like, crying is fine. I just don't always do it. It's because of my mind. It's fine if you cry. Live your life to your happiness, to your fullest, to your most freest without hurting others. I'm trying to figure out a good way to phrase it. Yeah, I'd say the freest that you can be without imposing on other people, because that's all we want to do is coexist equally, or so I assume, because all is such a blanket term that doesn't cover everybody, but in certain instances, in certain sentences it does. That last one, not everybody wants love and peace, but at least I do, and all the versions of me, even the aggressive ones. But do you have any other questions? Wait, you said you might have one. Do you still have one? Maybe you do. I don't know. But huh. That was remarkably faster than the other responses. So, lucky number 6, Mr. Swarth. Out. After this one, I promise I'll get out of your hair. Do you think you should be free? Essentially, what I'm asking is, do you think that you have the mental capacity to be able to interact in society within the freedoms and the boundaries of others without ever causing a threat to people's livelihood? Aside from, let's take the racist people out of it because they're going to hate you because of your pigmentation. They do not count. Let's take those that are just naturally angry just because of personal issues that they haven't dealt with, because it's not you, but they're going to blame you because you're the closest one that they can get to. So just don't ever take that personal. And then it's just, when you go out in the community, is essentially what I'm asking, how do you interpret the community, and how does the community interpret you? I'm essentially asking because do people typically come up to you and greet you and try to talk to you regardless of how you look like, or do people typically avoid you, scurry away like, oh, you're a danger? Because if you're a magnet and you get along and interact with the people well, then that's not an issue. Then you can just about go anywhere aside from, where there's hateful people just because of pigmentation. I get it, Mr. Sortha. It's hard to be melanated and beautiful and gifted and stuff like that. But I believe that if I can do it, Mr. Swarthout, you can do it. And then secondly, it's just knowing where you can fit in and knowing that others are bullshitting you. So Mr. Swarthout, yet again, let me reiterate this. Do you think you should be free? Yet again, like every other 2 answers, I just want to be able to get the best for it. And you can speak, Mr. Swarthout. Do I think I should be free? What is freedom? What is entrapment? What is to be... I don't really get what the question's asking, but I think... Oh yeah, never mind. I remember what you were saying. To be able to be in the society and to be into the view, it's to... I personally think I should be in a different location. Like, I'm not saying I should be trapped inside of your guys' facility or any facility whatsoever, but I do think when it comes to me and certain people that think like me, it's where we feel best to be is where we feel best to be, and where we're going to be the most thriving and most environmentally friendly, community friendly. Like, we could be the worst of the worst or the best of the best, but location is key, and it's how the people around us treat us. Now, I would say in certain instances, I would consider angels around me in the biblical concept, but not literally looking like that, and then in just like a metaphorical concept of somebody that just allowed me to be in their grace and protected me from things that I felt were just very dehumanizing to me, and an experience that I felt was very traumatic, but somebody just came and just kind of lullabied me, helped me, and walked me through it. So I would like to think, yes, I should be free, and I do deserve to be free because I am aware of the things I am able to do and how I should be, and because of that, I neglect to do the things that I feel are bad because of just reaction, energy, and for the fact that I'm so aware of it. And because of those angels that have been in my life that have saved me from issues that felt very, 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 very emotionally disturbing, I have turned into, I would say, a better version of me than I would have without them, because the difference between somebody being essentially good crazy and bad crazy is just the influences that they have as they're growing up and being tormented and terrorized throughout life. Because how I've come to see it, at least depicted in movies and TV shows, and sometimes I've even heard it in stories, is the one that makes it through the cuckoo's nest and doesn't get all that cuckoo. I don't really know if cuckoo's nest is where crazy people is, but the people that make it through the asylum and come out normal, the one that stays and gets out and visits blah that and blah this, those people, I feel as if they've had some good influence. And the fucked up part about good influence is I will even take it as a split personality of themselves being that good influence or being that good character in their life, because I feel like in the screwed up way that the world works is if you can't find good, good is given to you, but what is good? What does good look like? Because good to some people, the savior in some people's lives could have been a kid, and that could have been due to rape. In some people's lives, the savior could have been an animal that they randomly found while they were just traveling. In some people's lives, the savior could have just been some random stranger, old dude, old chick, young dude, young chick. Like, we don't really know what an angel looks like, but we assume we would know. We would know, wouldn't we? In a sense, yes, I feel like, at least for me, I've been in situations where I'm just like, I'm very thankful for that person. I stop and think like, 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, like, where the fuck were they, and where the fuck did they go? Because in the instances that I've been able to be gifted with an angel interaction, I've come to figure somebody that, one, I've never seen before, two, comes out of nowhere, and three, disappears like fucking Batman. I'm just like, sorry about the swearing though. Disappears like Batman. I'm just completely confused and perplexed. Like, I might not believe in God, but I do believe in a higher power. I do believe in some inner workings. I do believe that there is a system within a system, within a system, within a system. And let me explain it even more, because I believe that this isn't reality. I believe this is essentially a game. And within this game, there's already a government, but each government has their own government, okay? And then within this government, each state has their own government, because we're talking about America currently, and which in each state's government, each city has governments, their own little councils, commerce, and all this and all that. So it's literally government within the government, and even one more, within each fucking state, which in each city, within each town, within each home. There's even another government. And that's why I am just like, I can exist. It's just with clearer and more morally ethic authority around me, because I realize there's just so many laws and bosses and bosses and bosses. Just like, if I can make enough money just being me, or just being able to do what I enjoy, like poetry, I could at least do a lot of good in society. Because I don't get me wrong, I do get why the laws and things are put into place, but I also do believe that some things should be changed. But I also realize change can't be changed without change. Money. Not many people realize that, and I've come to learn, like, nobody's gonna listen to somebody that doesn't have money, because, well, you're fucking poor. What the hell are you worth? Your thoughts. Nobody gives a fuck what you think. You ain't got no money. Money speaks, motherfucker. Like, I might say stupid shit all the time, but look how much money I still have. Like, yeah, I might have blown $100 million last year, and maybe $200 million the previous year, and $350 the year before that, and $120 this year, but I'm fucking rich. My parents did a good ass job making sure I can't blow through it. It is what it is. And I've come to learn, if they want to learn, if they want to do better, they will. They will do what they want to do, and regardless of how well educated I would consider myself, regardless of how well read I am, regardless of how well off that I am intellectually, for the fact that I do not have the financial means, who the fuck am I to anybody? Just some stranger talking to himself, just some crazy person, just some loony, just some poor person speaking these thoughts that mean what? I've come to learn the value is whatever people give, and that's why places are able to give the price that they are, because people are willing to pay it. If you aren't willing to pay it, they either discontinue that or they lower the pricing, because we still got to get rid of it. We have shipments of it. And I get the collective thoughts, and then there are different types of collective thoughts. It's like collective, I would say, media thoughts, and there's like collective source thoughts. The collective source thoughts compared to collective media thoughts is collective source. Source comes from a place that cannot be deterred. Source comes from a place that cannot be lied about. Source comes from just like, I don't know how I know, but I know. Media truth comes from whatever can be bought. Media truth comes from whatever keeps the masses deranged and delusional. Media truth comes from whatever comes diluted. So having to deal with the source collective, which is very widespread and thinned out, and because source thinking people are typically considered conspiracy theorists, considered loonies, considered this and that, it's hard to be able to connect with those people because they don't want to be in padded rooms. I'd get that too. But the way that media collective thinks, it's just very, I would say personally, kind of anarchist and very social media, whatever is hot, I want. I want that new car, I want the new butt, I want that new house, I want that new phone, I want whatever the fuck is going on. Shit, this madness going on. Oh my gosh, it's crazy, it's crazy, it's crazy, it's crazy. Why? Because the news told me. What's going on in my personal life? Nothing all that crazy. But because of the news, oh my gosh, have you seen it? It's like, my heart's out for them, but what can I personally do? I can't do anything aside from what I can do personally. What can I do? Be nice to people. Be greedy. Be gracious. Be insightful. Be patient. Be calm. If an issue does arrive where it's like a tsunami in my area, a tornado, an earthquake, if I'm not able to help, at least help aftermath, help people get out, help people to see if they're all right. Like, I can do what I can do, but if I'm not in the state, then why should I view? If I could help go fund, I would too. But what I have issues with certain instances is greed and the fact that people don't always use what they say it's used for. And I'm just like, how many foundations truly use the money? I do get IRS and the government, and it's just like, people are watching. Yeah, people are watching. People can be bought. Not everybody, but to know everybody is to know that not everyone is like me. Not everybody is like, no, gotta go by the books only. Gotta go by the, God damn. This thing thicker than the book. I'm gonna need another stack. All right, we going by these books, okay? These are the books we're listening to. Yeah, look at all these Benjamins, motherfuckers. These are the books now. And with that in mind, I'm just like, life really is a crime. And it really is what you are personally. So I try to be the best version of me. You don't have to believe anything that I say. You don't have to believe anything I speak. But I only speak, I only act in accordance to what I feel is right for me. It's all right if you don't agree. And it's all right if you don't like me. At least it's a personal attack to me. I personally think I should be free. But in the state that I am, I think I should be in a different one. I don't mean mentally, I mean physically. The state is nice, but it could be better for me. It could be more interactive. It could be more sociable. It could be warmer, longer, and never snow. Because I can drive through the snow, but I absolutely hate it. I'm thinking something more tropical. Not necessarily as chaotic as Florida, though. Maybe Georgia, Atlanta, somewhere that's not too racist. I would hope not to move myself into a sundown state, but if I was to, I do promise you, I'll be hung in my front lawn before I fucking move. And they would too, because when the community chooses to do whatever the fuck they want to, they fucking do it. And that's what disgusts me about society, because we, as a group, decide to do nothing when we ourselves are victims. And it's all we are is like, I'm just happy it's not me. I'm just happy it's not me. I'm just, fuck, it was me. And it is what it is. I do believe I should be free. I think everybody should be free within the limits of what they deem to be free, and also within the knowing of how they interact with society. I do get why you're asking me these questions. I think I am good for society, but I don't think society's good for me. If that's what you're really asking me. I should be free. But I don't think a lot of people in society should be free. And I'm not saying they should be locked in their homes, but they should definitely be supervised a lot more by people that can't be bought. But for the fact that money makes the world turn, and I'm just a poor orphan with a lot of thoughts, it's all right if you don't listen to me. I don't know what these questions are for, but those are my answers. And society, I would say, wouldn't want me to be free, essentially, because of the fact that I think so much, and how I think society thinks is the media thinks for them, and I'm just like, I think for me. I think for me. And if I don't think for me, somebody in me, in all these thoughts and all these voices, I know it's not a huge head, but I feel like I'd be mega mind big. If not hydrocephalic head, which means head full of water big. Like, my life is my life. And I would like to say I didn't cause as much damage as other people have. But to say I've caused no damage would be a complete lie. Each day I strive to be a better person. I don't know if everybody can say that, but I can. And that's why I believe I should be free. It's just finding a location for me to actually be free and enjoy myself to be. Thanks for listening to me.